Hello, I'm Don Hammock, Sports Information Director at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, coming to you from the field at Fulton, Mississippi, where the Bulldogs beat up on Itawamba 37-13 tonight. We'll talk with Jack Wright where we look at some highlights and also interview linebacker Drake Thornton and quarterback Pat McQuaide. Next segment of the show, we'll introduce you to Scott Burton and play some 10 questions with the sophomore defensive lineman. And lastly, we'll introduce you to new women's soccer coach Aaron Avila and his Bulldog soccer team. Stick around. Here on the field with head coach Jack Wright from Fulton after a big win against Itawamba. Jack, your overall impression of tonight? It was a good night, I think.
Good night. I think the thing that stands out is offensive efficiency. That's the one kind of the theme for the night, and very, very pleased with that side of the football. On third downs is kind of what stands out. Just had not having a chance to watch the film. The one thing that stands out is I think we had a lot of success on third down, so that's really good.
I think 8 of 13. We're going to see. I talked with Pat McQuaide. He converted some long third downs in the first half by using his feet, getting out of the pocket and improvising. So y'all were able to do that. I think you were like a couple yards shy of 300 yards, 30 of 38 passing. You're also able to run for 157 yards. That's got to feel good.
Yeah. It's tough to run the ball in this league. The talent on the defensive front has always made it tough. So breaking 100, that feels good. We had 3 or 4 different guys run the football tonight. I think that's very important. That we're going to need all of those running backs before the end of the year. So them being able to get into the game tonight, getting some quality reps was extremely important.
Yeah, you talked about last week trying to make sure you got more guys into the game. Thought this might be an opportunity to do that, and you were able to do so. Defensively, what'd you see from the Regulators tonight?
We were caught a little bit off guard. They did some things differently than they did in the first game. They had a very, very athletic quarterback, and he made some plays with his feet. Not something we saw on film from last week. So that made it tough on us. We came in with a certain plan to stop what we had seen on film, and then we had to adjust. It was a lot different, and I think we did that. The quarterback did make some plays with his feet. That's tough stuff to defend when you're rushing so hard and play with great effort. It's a little bit of a misdirection play, when he takes off. So you got to give their quarterback credit for making some plays. But our kids' fault, I think we played everybody on our defensive side of the ball tonight. So we've got to continue to do that and gain confidence and gain depth. But a lot of good athletes over there.
One of the reasons why the quarterback was having to run so much, the Regulators sacked him 7 times, so he's kind of running for his life a lot tonight.
I didn't realize that we had sacked him 7 times. That's an incredible number. I remember seeing Coppagel in the backfield some. Scott Burton, I think, had a good game. Ricardo Williams, I think, had a really good game. John Brown, just a really solid group. And we've got 10 to 12 guys that roll in, so we've got to continue to do that and have all of those guys help us.
I thought if there was one thing you probably, were most pained by, had some turnovers, and the score could have been even worse if we'd held on to the ball.
Yeah, we had a couple of fumbles, very disappointing. We stressed ball security a lot. I don't think we had any fumbles in the first game, so coming in, that was kind of something that was disappointing. But what you've got to, that's going to happen in football, man. We're going to create turnovers, and we're going to give them a couple. I think we did a good job as a team of kind of overcoming it. I think they scored off of one of them. It wasn't a short field, though. They had a good drive. We were able to overcome, those couple of mistakes. So very good there. It's not always going to go your way. You're going to have some bad things happen, like turnovers and big plays by the other team. But you got to fight through those. So I think we learned a lesson there.
You guys going to have to drive like 2.5 hours up to Meridian and then come back to Perk next week to get ready to play a football game for the first time at home?
Think about last year, Don. We went on the road 2 homes and 2 Northeast to start out. This year we start out at Northwest and Itawamba. So the schedule makers the last 2 years have not cut us any breaks. We're kind of some road warriors now. The thing that I like is, if we do have to go play a long road game somewhere down the road, we've done it. We know the process, and we're veterans at it. So you just learn from experience. But getting a win on the road like this is not an easy accomplishment. I don't think people realize this is college football. They've got good players. It's a long way from home. There's more to just going between the lines and playing football. There's a way that you got to carry yourself and travel, and I'm proud of our kids for doing it like a pro.
Got Southwest next week. I know you haven't looked at any film of it, but what do you know about them?
I know they had a big win versus Delta. Don't know much about those guys much yet, but obviously we'll spend a lot of time, watching the film and trying to get acclimated to them. But, I think they've got a really good team. Coach Collins has been there a couple of years, and I think this looks like they're turning a corner, and we'll have another tough opponent on our hands.
Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you, Don.
Here on the field with Drake Thornton, the sophomore linebacker. Drake, big win for y'all tonight. What does it feel like to get the first W of the season?
Honestly, it feels great. We worked really hard throughout the week. We put in a lot of time into watching film, a lot of time into going over the plays that they ran, and it was just a really great team experience. We got to come together. We came together, we stayed together, and we just drove down the field and did what we could.
I know last week's a tough loss to bounce back from, but I heard all week that y'all were super positive and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to take that loss. We played as hard as we could, and we were really confident. We was really happy with the way we played. There was mistakes that we had to fix. We have a lot of young guys, and it was just a long trip. We played our heart out, though, and we just had to keep moving forward. Every week it's 1-0. We got to restart, 1-0.
Regulators had 7 sacks tonight. How are y'all able to get in the backfield so consistently?
Oh, it's just we're regulators. Mount up. It's what we do, It's a strong defense. We're confident. We trust each other. We do our jobs. It's great.
You went 37-13. I know Coach Schufelt will be talking about the 13 you gave up. So you guys got some things you can clean up next week, don't you?
Yes, sir. We'll be hearing that at practice and film. We're definitely going to clean that up this week, and we're looking forward for the next game against Southwest.
What will it mean to be back at home for the first time?
It's a great feeling. There's nothing like playing at home, especially in Perkinston. The crowd there, the fans, there's just nothing like it.
All right. Congratulations, Drake.
Thank you.
Here on the field with freshman quarterback Pat McQuaide, first W of the year. It's got to feel good for you guys.
Yeah, it feels great, definitely, especially coming off a loss last week. It was a tough game, and we did some really good things, but ultimately we lost the game, and the standard here is to win. So we had a good week of practice. We did a good job. Guys did a really good job in the film room, in classroom, handling that stuff, and on the practice field, and came out here against a good Itawamba team and got it done. So.
I think you were like 25 of 30 for 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. What was working for y'all tonight?
I think just getting our guys in space. I mean, the guys that we have on offense are really explosive, and they're really hard to bring down. So the offensive line did a great job last week, and they did a great job tonight of giving me time to throw and getting the ball into the hands of the guys that play around me is just the key. I mean, they're hard to bring down, and we showed that tonight. So.
Y'all were able to convert a couple 3rd and longs when you got flushed out of the pocket. What are you trying to do in those situations?
I think it's just kind of like instinct, make a play and just see what happens. I mean, it's all about getting the defense in tough positions and making them make a choice. Do they want to come and try and tackle me, or do they want to stay in coverage? So luckily the receivers did a great job of sticking with the play and giving me options, and they did a great job all night of keeping plays alive and finishing them.
I think y'all ran for about 150 yards. That's got to make your job easier.
Yeah, for sure. The big boys up front love running the ball. They ask for it all the time. Just hand it off. So to run for 150, like you said, that's great. I mean, feeding Cam and Xavier, and we got a bunch of backs in tonight, and getting those young guys carries is huge for the team and huge for those guys' confidence moving forward.
You're going to play your first home game in Perkinston. What are you expecting next week?
I mean, from everything I've heard, it's an electric atmosphere, and it's an incredible place to play. I've been told it's the best place to play in the South. So I'm incredibly excited being from Ohio. I mean, I don't know anything about it, so I'm fired up to get back home and play in front of our crowd and our fans.
We may have to go ride the bus 2.5 hours away and back to get y'all back in sync after these last couple of weeks, but it feels good to get the W tonight.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's meet sophomore defensive lineman Scott Burton. We'll play 10 questions with him, and you'll learn some things about his favorite food and what he likes to do when he's away from the football field.
I'm Scott Burton. I'm from Boca Chica, Mississippi. I went to school at Parkland Academy. You know, I went there, I've been there since 7th grade. I went to Boca Chica High School, you know, all the way through middle school, but we decided to change towards me and my brothers. We decided to go the other route. And it was a great experience having private school more than public school, but you know, you have your ups and downs with it, but as far as schooling wise, it was probably one of the best experiences I ever had. You know, Boca Chica is kind of a small town, not many people know about it. You know, but it's a great place, a lot of friendly people, and it's just where I grew up. You know, our closest neighbor was half a mile from us. We didn't grow up in a suburb, we just kind of did our own thing, and had my brothers growing up and my little sister, we were kind of outdoorsy people. And I guess you could say it made us a little tougher than other people, but I love it. It was a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. Favorite athlete? Oh, that's a tough one. I grew up, you know, when I was playing, it's still in high school. I used to love watching Peyton Manning play, and I used to love watching his speeches and how he brought up his teammates to do greater, and I loved it. And that's why I'm number 18 now, actually, because that's who I look up to, is him. My favorite musical artist is Alan Jackson, hands down. He just, whenever I listen to music, I listen to all types of music. You know, if it's a good song, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it, but he has made more songs that I can listen to over and over and over again, without a question. Coach Smith is he's a great guy. I love him to death. He believed in me when not a lot of coaches believed in me. When I was getting recruited, I was getting recruited to play H-back and tight end. That's what I played in high school, was H-back, and I played DN, but I wasn't no 5-star defensive lineman. And when they brought me here, I was actually expecting to play H-back and tight end, because that's just what I played and that's what I was okay at. But he believed that I could be something greater than what I actually was, and you know, I could play defensive line. And not a lot of people thought I could, but here I am now. One of the starting defensive ends. I didn't even expect it, but he pushed me to be my best, and I love him for it. It'd probably be hamburger helper. You know, I love hamburger helper. That's one of the things I grew up eating all the time, and hands down, I'll eat it every day. Oh, Incredible Hulk. My favorite superhero is Incredible Hulk. Just crazy. I started playing football kind of in 5th grade. You know, when I was still at Boca Chica, I remember going to class and bringing home the little sheet for tackle football. We had flag football, you know, kind of a town thing, but you know, I remember bringing the sheet to my dad and asking him if I could play. Of course, he said yes, but you know, it was great playing. We didn't really play other schools. You kind of played each other, but you know, we'd play other schools like Enterprise sometimes. But I mean, it was great. I actually played quarterback, you know, Pee Wee football, and I thought I was going to be some great quarterback, but you know, it didn't end up like that. I like taking pictures of animals. You know, I like observing things outside and taking a minute to just look at stuff, and I feel like not a lot of people take a second just to look. Blindside. Blindside, I feel like I related to Blindside when, you know, because people didn't kind of believe him in at first, and hard work and dedication pushed him through to be his greatest, and I loved it. I would thank my parents and my siblings, because growing up they were my backbone. Every single day, if something bad happened to me, they were there to take care of me. If it wasn't my brothers or my sister, it was my parents. If it wasn't my parents, it'd be my brothers and sister. They were there for me whenever I needed them.
New women's soccer coach Aaron Avila has taken over the Bulldogs. He and assistant coach Carly Malden are molding the Bulldogs into a group of winners. We're going to talk with him about his new squad and also talk about the new artificial turf that's turned Barry Thrash Field into the envy of everybody in the MACCC.
A lot of inexperience, a lot of youth, but it's a group that's coming well together. I would say the team chemistry is getting much better. They're working harder in training, they're competing a little bit harder, so I've seen that progression. And they're beginning to pick up the ideas that we're trying to get them to carry out during the game. So there's definitely improvement with that young group. So with us, it's a game where our players make decisions. They're constantly thinking, constantly processing information. We always tell them the 5 things they need to think about while they're playing. So it's just teaching them how to do those things. And then obviously as a game plays, we ask questions, we see how the other team answers those questions, and then our players make those decisions depending on what they read. And obviously always giving the player on the ball multiple options, and they just have to pick the right one in that situation. So we have a small class, only 3. So AP, which she's coming back from injury last year, but she's been playing a little better each game. Her confidence is growing coming back from that knee injury. And she scored a hat trick last game out. So you can tell she's progressing. She'll be a big part, just trying to keep her healthy this year. She should have a very good year. And then we have Kate, KB. She's another player who's stepped up really big. She's probably been our best defender so far. And she's kind of leading that line right now. So, she didn't play center back last year, but this year, out of necessity, we're playing her at center back. But she's done really well, so that's been a nice surprise. And then also Bailey, our 3rd sophomore, she's been playing center back for us, and she's had to fill in a lot just because of some small injuries we've had during the season early. But she's done well, and she's progressing. She's kind of developing in that spot. So, good things from our 3 sophomores so far. Ailey being a freshman, she's played every single minute, only having 1 goalkeeper, and that's been kind of good and bad for her because it takes a lot of, a toll on her body playing that many minutes. But she's held up well. She's doing well on the field, and she's very vocal, kind of developing that leadership that we like from the goalkeeper. Her teammates respect her. So that's been a good fit as far as in the back. Our outside backs, obviously being freshmen, the ones that get the most playing time right now are Annalise, we can just call her AE. She's obviously coming in, new to the college game. She's going through the learning process, trying to settle down a little bit as she plays, trying to get her to read the game a little bit quicker, be a little bit more calm on the ball. But she's played, and she's probably played every minute of every single game we've had so far, so she's gaining that experience. And she'll do well. She keeps on progressing and keeps on figuring things out. On the other side, we've had 2 players kind of sharing the load on the other side. So we've had Sierra Baxter, so she's played some at left back. Kylie McNair has been the other player who's played at left back. And same thing, 2 freshmen, just kind of figuring it out as they go along, trying to get them a little bit more calm and relaxed, but they're both progressing well, and they're playing a little bit better each game. So Tiffany, she's the other center back. Now she's dealt with some injuries early on, and so she's played a lot of games, but she's also missed a lot. So we're trying to get her back right now, but as far as talent-wise, she's very athletic, very talented, so we're just trying to keep her healthy and just keep her progressing. So in the middle, we're, yet again, very young. We've got 2 players that are pretty much playing the majority of the minutes. So we have one of our freshman internationals, Valentina. She's filled in there very well. She's trying to adjust to the style of play here, just being a lot more physical and a lot less time on the ball. But she's doing well. Like, she's working well. She's very technical, very good on the ball. So she's been able to adjust a little bit better. And then we have Lainey, another freshman, a local player. She's also, she's just transitioning into the college game, but she is learning fast. And I see her just playing a little bit better each time out. She does more good things. So we've had a couple players fill in. Like I said, with the injury, we have Avery. So she's actually filling in as a center back right now because of injuries we've had there, but she's also filled in at center midfielder. And she's also a player that's just trying to get comfortable in the college game, trying to work on her presence on the field a little bit more, being a little bit more aggressive, playing with a little bit more confidence. But she's technical enough, and she's done really good at filling in and giving us some good minutes in the middle and also at center back. So up top, we already spoke about AP, so she's doing well. We have 2 other freshmen that are playing that center striker role for us as well. So we have Morgan Pickering. She's played a lot of minutes for us up top. She's kind of very similar to Lainey. She's adjusting to the college game, adjusting to the physical side. We're asking her to use a little bit of a different skill set than she's used to, so she's trying to develop that side of her game. But she's progressing, so she's doing a little bit better each game. Player that if she continues to progress, she should do well in this league once she kind of puts it all together. We have another freshman also playing some minutes there, Skylar Vance. Same thing, just trying to figure things out, trying to play a little bit different style, getting used to a little bit more physical game, a little bit quicker pace. But she's progressing each training session, each game, she shows a little bit more. So they stay healthy, they should just continue to move forward. As far as those center strikers, those are the main 3. Now on our wide players, we have mostly freshmen. They're pretty much all freshmen. So out wide left, one of the players that gets a lot of minutes is Mariana, one of our internationals. A player has a really hard work rate, very fit. So she is dangerous out wide and does a lot for us, both sides of the ball. And kind of like with her, she's just trying to learn her teammates, learn the style of play. But she's progressing well, and she's definitely dangerous out wide. On the other side, we have Hannah Lipnetsky. And same thing, like most of our freshmen, they're adjusting to the game, adjusting to the style, trying to figure things out as we go along, but she's playing a little better each game. She's got some speed to her, she works hard, so she's got some tools, she just needs to put it all together. Also on that side, we picked up a late player in the recruiting process, just right after school started pretty much. So Morgan Westling, so she transferred in and she's been a very nice surprise. Same thing, very similar to Mariana, has a very high work rate, very athletic, and she's just picking things up as we go along. She missed the preseason here, so she's been having to catch up a little bit. But she works so hard and she wants to learn, so she's doing really well for us out wide. Macy, she's played 2 different positions for us during preseason, during season. Sometimes we play her at outside back, depending on the health of her back line, and sometimes we play her out wide. So she's a player who's trying to learn, trying to figure out the tactical side of the game a little bit. She helps us in the midfielder at times. Depends. So she plays more whenever Avery has to fill in as a center back due to injuries, and Auburn and Kayla, we work both of those players into the midfield. So Michelle, she's a player who just came in, wants to be a part of the team, and is a really hard worker, but she just needs to continue to develop and then just kind of transition into the college game. And it's hard. but she's getting better each practice. So that's a good thing, is that our players are improving, but we still have a long ways to go. I think we're going to be able to give teams a tough time. The biggest thing, I mean, and I've said this to multiple people, is just trying to stay healthy. We have such a small roster, such a young roster, but I see them progressing each week. It's just, can we keep them healthy, and are we going to have enough time with them to continue to progress? But we still have a lot of things to contend with. A lot of the teams in our league are a little bit more experienced than we are. They're older, more mature, very athletic, very physical. But we have a good group of players. We really do. It's just not a very big group. So yeah, if we stay healthy, keep on progressing, we'll give teams a tough game. Carly, she's fit right in. She's come in. The girls really respect her. They really have seemed to bond with her very well, and that's been good to see. She's just obviously being a new coach on the staff, and we're all new pretty much, but it's been nice to watch her just interact with all the players, and she's been a huge help in training. A lot of players use her as a good resource for individual work as well, so she's taken the time to work with players individually. So that's been really positive. So it's been really nice. I mean, we don't have to worry about the rain, only lightning. We've been able to train pretty consistent. Even games that sometimes will be canceled at other places, we've been able to play here. So the girls really enjoy it. It's nice just stepping out on that field and just getting a good training session, and regardless of whether it's raining or it's wet, it allows us just to go out there and train. So that's been a positive for us.
Thank you for joining us for Bulldog Blitz. Next week, we'll finally be back at home. Week 3, the first home game of the year. Bulldogs will entertain Southwest. We hope you'll join us in Perkinston and come back and see the next episode of Bulldog Blitz.